Good morning, everybody. I'm Justin, and I've been living in Vietnam for 8 years now. This video is going to be Vietnam 101. A few things that you should be aware of when coming to Vietnam if you want to live here for a long time or visit, kind of do a digital nomad thing, stay here for a year or so. To get it out of the way really quickly, if you like this stuff, you want to know more about living in Vietnam, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And so I post all kinds of things about living in Vietnam and exploring Asia. So first thing is that if you're an American, you're going to need a visa just visiting here. And that surprises a lot of people. And you see it all over TikTok and the Facebook pages about a mistake. People are trying to come to Vietnam and they don't fill out the visa. And then they just can't stay here. So, that really ruins their plans. So yeah, you are going to need a visa when visiting Vietnam. So there's two kinds of visas. There is the e-visa, where you'll get on the website and upload photos of your passport, fill out a questionnaire, and pay the fees, which are $25 for single entry and then $50 for multiple entry. Then there's visa on arrival, and it really isn't visa on arrival because you still have to go to a website. You have to get a letter. You have from a couple agencies that like tourism agencies that you fill out the form, and then they'll give you this letter, and then your visa on arrival. When you get to Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi, you'll go to the visa or on arrival desk, and then you'll hand them that paper and then fill out some paperwork, and they'll give you the passport, or they'll give you the visa there. Same thing, it's $25 for single entry and $50 for multiple entry. So that's going to get you into the country, and it is okay to look for jobs in Vietnam, even though like a tourist visa, you're not supposed to do that, but it's kind of the only way to do it. And the most common job in Vietnam, or at least the most common job I know of, is teaching English. And to teach English, you're going to need a 4-year degree and then English teaching certificate, TEFL, a TESOL, or a CELTA. And those are just courses that you go through to learn how to teach English. That's probably where you'll be able to get your TRC, your temporary residence card, and your work permit. And I know a lot of people that they'll come in, start teaching English, and then try to find a new thing or start up their own business. But they'll still teach English so they can keep that work permit and TRC. But they'll have another business on the side. Or maybe even that's their primary business, but they'll still teach enough English and get enough hours to maintain their TRC and work permit. If you're in here on a tourism visa and you do get a job, you are going to need to leave again to get that new visa issued, your new business visa or your TRC. You're going to get that issued while you're outside of Vietnam, and you come in on that, and then that's going to set you straight. And then after that, you're not going to need to do any more visa runs. As far as visa runs go, if you are a digital nomad, or you just don't have a TRC, or all your stuff isn't set up like that, visa runs are pretty easy. You can fly off to Bangkok, that's common, fly over to Kuala Lumpur, or you can even do a border run to the Mok Bai border, which is Cambodia. You just get on a bus, go over there, cross the border, and come back. Now, if you've seen the news in Thailand recently, they've cracked down on that, and you're no longer allowed to do that in Thailand. But in Vietnam, it's still not a problem, and I know plenty of people that don't have TRCs and are staying here on a tourist visa and are just kind of doing visa runs occasionally. Moving on to rent. Rent can go anywhere from like 8 million Vietnamese dong to 25 million Vietnamese dong, depending on your situation. If you're a single person that's just scraping by, you can handle living in like a little closet. You can get pretty cheap rent. But if you have a family or you're like a couple, sky's the limit. But there is one law that you need to know about that is kind of unique to Vietnam, and it's that the local police need to know where you're living. Your landlord, by law, and you need to make sure you're registered with the local police department. Hotels usually handle it by themselves, and that's never an issue for you when you're staying at a hotel. Airbnbs, it gets a little weird because Airbnbs they're not really legal, and in some apartment complexes, they're just completely banned. But other places, they're kind of quasi legal or they let them slide. So this law can make it hard for you with Airbnbs. But when you get to a real apartment and you sign like a 6-month lease or a year-long lease, you need to make sure that you're registered with the police station, and your landlord is supposed to do this. And there's a website that your landlord can go onto, and it takes 2 minutes. A landlord puts in their information and your information, and they just do it online. Super easy that way. But there's also sometimes that you need an official paper with a red stamp. I don't know the name of the paper. We just say, I need the police with the red stamp. I need the residence paper with the red stamp. And you'll need that for things like the background check and doing your paperwork for your work visa. Now, this should be free. The landlord is supposed to be able to go down there and get that for free. You give your landlord your passport, and sometimes I've given my landlord the passport and she's taken it for a couple days, and I think she takes it to the police station. Other times she's just taken photos of my passport and my TRC, and then she gets me my paperwork. And I've never had to pay for it. But I've also heard some people say that, they are charged a little fee of like 100,000 or 200,000 to get this red stamp paper. Because your landlord does need to take time out of their day to go get that done. But your landlord shouldn't be charging you like 1 million or 2 million or something like that to get this stamp. It's supposed to be free. People also get a little worked up about electricity costs because they're not really sure if they're getting a fair deal by their landlord on how much electricity costs. Officially, electricity costs, like there's a scale, there's tiers, there's 6 tiers of electricity costs. But the top tier is around like 3,300 Vietnamese dong per kilowatt. But after everything put together, usually, you want to be spending, your landlord should be charging you 4,000 or 5,000, less than that, between 4 and 5,000 Vietnamese dong per kilowatt. So you can kind of see the size of my apartment. I've always got that AC on all the time, and this one I have on at night, and my electricity bill is usually about 1 million a month, which is like $44. One thing that a lot of people don't like is the noise ordinance. There aren't really noise ordinance laws in Vietnam, and things can get pretty loud. Like your neighbors can be out there singing karaoke all night, and really nobody's gonna do anything about that. So be careful if you want to move by a bar, because Vietnamese bars can be so loud. It can be really crazy. So be careful of that. And one thing I recommend is if you're looking for an apartment, drive by during like a Saturday night, or know that neighborhood and drive around there at night so you know how loud it is. Because maybe it's all closed up during the day, but at night that bar opens or that club, and it can be really loud and nobody's gonna be able to help you with that. You're just going to need to get some earplugs and deal with it. Moving on to cell phones. There are two big providers, Viatel and Mobifone. I personally use Mobifone, but I don't think it really matters. And you're going to need to take your passport down to the store and get your phone number. Some people can get tourist numbers, but that's not going to work forever. You really need, if you're going to be here for a long time, you need to go down to the Mobifone store or the Viatel store or whatever and get a real phone number and give them your passport, and so they can make sure it's not like a spam account or anything like that. Now, the part that gets people really worked up is that you can go to a Family Mart or Circle K or 7-Eleven, and you get money put onto your phone number account, your Mobifone account. And so you'll go to Family Mart and you can just ask 100,000 for Mobifone or 200,000 for Mobifone, and they'll give you a little number, a little scratch off ticket or whatever, and you can use the app. You could put it into your app, or you can text that number into your phone, and that's going to charge your phone number account. But that's not your data plan, and that's not your cell phone plan. That's just money onto your account. And then when your money's on your account, then you need to buy your data plan with that. That gets people worked up because they'll see money on their account, but then they're talking on their phone for like 2 days, and since you don't have a data plan, it takes some money from there, and they get all upset and get angry at the Family Mart clerk, where the staff at Family Mart, they might not have enough English to tell you that, this money is not your data plan. It's on your account, and you can do anything with it, but it's not your data plan. And you can buy a data plan by texting a little code to your cell phone provider. You could do it in the app also. And you could even do it, I don't know about all the banking apps, but I know my banking app, Vietcom Bank, you can buy a data plan from your banking account, your banking account app, your banking app, your cell phone app, and you could just text your provider a little code, and that will purchase a data plan for you. 100,000 Vietnamese dong get you a little data plan of about, I think, like 6 to 8 gigs, and that should hold you over for probably the month if you're not watching too much YouTube and TikTok when you're not attached to some Wi-Fi. You can buy all kinds of things with that money on your phone account. Also, you can buy things from apps, buy things off the internet, and you can charge it to that, to your cell phone account, just like a credit card or a little banking account. When it comes to transportation, the easiest way to get around is by Grab, and that's the Uber of Asia, and mostly it's going to be motorbikes, and a trip from District 1 to District 2, which is a pretty good ride. It's not too far, it's not too close. That'll cost maybe around 20,000 Vietnamese dong, 25,000 give or take. If you're a little sketchy about taking the Grab bikes, you can take the car, and at a good price, a car from District 1 to District 2, medium distance, can be like low as 70 to 80 to 90, 100,000 when it gets a little later. If it's pouring rain, it might be 170,000 Vietnamese dong. Saigon does have a metro now, and that runs from District 1 out to District 9. And it's moderately convenient. It's not perfect, because it's still it can be a hassle getting from your place to the nearest station. And sometimes, like on holidays, it can be really full from everybody in District 9 filling up the metro coming into District 1. And there isn't so so many people getting off at all these other stops. If you're in District 9, you're probably just going to District 1. So people don't get off at Taotian and at the other stops. And as far as getting your own motorbike, that's can be very intimidating at first. It's not so intimidating once you've been riding a motorbike. Give it a couple days of riding the motorbike and you get pretty used to it, and it's not as scary. The whole city is designed for motorbikes. Like, all the sidewalks are set up for that, and parking is all designed for motorbikes. That's by far the most convenient way to get around the city. As far as driver's license go, if you have a license even for a motorbike or a car outside of Vietnam, that's not going to count inside Vietnam. And then as far as like the driver's license here, you get, I think there's mainly 3 kinds of permits. There's the permit for like the little bike, which is 125cc and smaller, like the scooters that you see everywhere. Then you have your big bikes, which is, your like real motorbikes. And then you have your car permits. Those are all different, and different processes of converting your license from wherever you're from over into this one. That's a little bit of how to get started living in Vietnam. Vietnam 101. If you are interested in living in Vietnam, visit Vietnam, seeing it, or exploring Asia, go ahead, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, I'd love to help you out. Go ahead, post those in the comments down below. And then I guess I'll see you in the next one, all right? Justin out.